All
I
right,
don't want them to come back.
Gary Con's over with. Let's just get right to this because, oh God, we have so much stuff to talk about. Sorry, Christian.
I'm going back to bed.
So we're the Grumpy Dungeon Masters. I'm Jay, joined with my co-host Christopher, Christian, Dan. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hello there.
I slept for 15 hours.
Oh, you took today off?
Nice.
No, I came home and slept for 15 hours straight.
Oh.
So, Christian, where can they find us on social medias?
You can find the Grumpy Dungeon Masters on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube, and you can find us streaming on Twitch TV Tuesday and Thursday evenings. About to start some Valheim, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
And coming soon, roaring in like a spring storm, will be the fury, the sound, the danger of Grumpy Dungeon Master Christopher's D&D 5e campaign, Waterdeep World War Dead.
I am so excited.
Yeah. If you
Can we
like
get
what you hear from us,
sound effects next time? I feel like we need it.
Yeah.
A lightning crash.
Yeah, maybe I'll work on that. But if you like what you hear from us, if you like what you see when you watch us stream or watch us on YouTube, give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, leave a comment.
Look at our Gary Con photos.
Hell yeah. Look at our Gary Con photos. Tell us how dumb we are.
We were in like 6 different adverts.
I know it. Yeah. I was like, what the hell?
I'm in the weird Gary Con video for the Gary Con house thing. I'm in like 3 different adverts. It's like, hey, look what's happening at Gary Con.
Here's
From
Chris's
last year
fat head.
and this year. Yeah.
All right. So how do we want to start this thing off? Do we want to let Christian just ask us what the hell we did?
Yes, because Christian couldn't make it because he was in Scotland or something.
I'm going to Scotland very soon. So
whatever.
Same thing.
You weren't there, man. You weren't there.
I was not there. It's true.
I cried. I cried a little bit every night. Why don't you ask us, like you're interviewing us for it, like, favorite games, grumpiest moments. I have one.
We all do.
Yeah. Yeah, just ask us and we'll let you know, because I think every single one of us could talk for an hour at least about everything.
Easily.
I'm sure. Yeah. So yeah, I'll ask a few things, then let people go on what tangents they will. But let's start at the beginning. I did go to GaryCon last year, and last year there was a whole pre-event, pre-game kind of Shadow Dark thing and kickoff party. Was there anything similar to that, this year? And if so, did you guys go, and what was it?
Yes,
there was. Yeah, Orthane Productions, who made the Kingdom of Keshinar book that was just released in time for GaryCon, was hosting it this year. They had free beers and they had pizza, and we had actually been pre-gaming in Evolve, the bar down below before then, because we were,
like you do,
a long day of travel and had already had food, so I actually didn't partake in any of the food. We just went up and said hi to David, and got David and Marks to sign our books, and then some other guy named Chris Waples to sign our books too.
Yeah, still don't know who he is.
Yeah, I don't know who he is, but whatever. I hear
giant.
The unknown giant. Yeah, he signed it, and I helped, so I guess that means something. But yeah, Orthane did the pre-con party, and a lot of people showed up. It was good. Got to see a lot of different faces there.
Yeah, Keshinar had a lot of heat behind it this year. Like, there was a lot of people I just came across randomly who were really interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, a buddy of mine who traveled with us up there, old friends from high school, Chris. He went up there independently with his son. Played a few games with him. Went to the dealer's room, and without us ever mentioning it to him or saying anything about it, he independently bought the Keshinar book, as well as a bunch of swag from them when he went to the dealer's room, because he thought it looked so cool. He did not find out until later when we were in the lounge on the way home. He's like, "Wait a minute, you guys helped out with that?" It's like, "Yeah, check out the credits page."
Yeah, we're all in there.
I'm in there twice.
I think Wapel signed his book.
No, and he didn't have his book on him.
Oh, it must have been packed
Yeah.
away. I mean, each of us packed like 60-pound bags on the way back, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
52. That's the limit.
Yeah, I think one of our friends ended up overpacking between his board games and the like multitude of Wisconsin cheese he was bringing back with him. So
I get that cheese.
shout out to the cheese box. Place is
Yeah.
great.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
You gotta
so
do
good.
what Chris did last year. Is you ship it back.
Oh, he
He
did
did
it
it
again
this
this year.
Did it this year. I bought 150 pounds of cheese for me and my wife.
It's not 150 pounds, $150 of cheese.
That's a
Listen, I'm
big.
still tired, all right?
Those are two very different things.
We were gaming all weekend. I was DMing and gaming all weekend, and I
Okay,
failed.
so that was your guys' kickoff. Orthane Productions and Kingdoms of Keshinar. So Thursday. What was everyone's? I'll start with another simple. What was everyone's first game?
I'll handle that one because Dan's first game was the 8-hour long Caverns of Thracia game with Mike Merles, and me bogarting my way into that game.
Yeah, so let's be a lesson to everybody. Just because you didn't get a ticket for the Ed Greenwood or the Mike Merles or the Jeremy Crawford game, if you know somebody who did, you can show up at that table, and if you are a nice enough person and beg and plead enough, you'll get into that game because I saw that happen multiple times with
hmm
multiple really great DMs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've got an extra slot." I mean, don't show up with a group of people, but like if you really, really want to get in that one game, you probably can because people don't mind.
Yeah, I mean,
Puppy,
I threw an extra
you do the
person into
puppy
my
dog
last
eyes.
game because I knew him.
He didn't have to do
Uh,
puppy dog guys. He's like, he just was honest. He's like, "Hey, I really wanted to get into this game, Mike. My buddy Dan got into it. Is there another seat at your table?" And Mike's like, "Yeah, sure. That's fine. Here you go. Want to play
yeah,
the Gnome Illusionist? Here you go."
yeah, I was very
Cool.
honest. It's like if it's too much for you, that's fine. I'll sit here and watch. Um, and I even asked the people at the tables, like, if it's okay with you all too. Like, it was more than just the DM, because sometimes the players don't want to have an extra person. They were all fine with it. I
Yeah.
don't think it was a pain, and the game lasted for 8 hours, and
Yeah, we played
he
the
did
full 8 hours,
amazing.
so it was great.
So you guys
Yeah,
played that. That was an old school essentials, right?
It was advertised as Old School Essentials, but apparently Mike, after he had made the posting for the game, went through it and started going through his notes and started prepping for it, and realized that it was not written for basic D&D because he was going to run Old School Essential. It was written for basic D&D, but he realized it was written for AD&D. So he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna. Everyone knows AD&D. I'm just going to run AD&D. So that's what we played
Oh,
it in.
awesome.
it was a
Yeah.
little simplified or something.
He adapted a few things. Like you didn't instantly die at 0 HP. You went down to I think -10 or -9 or something like that, which never really came up. I don't think. I don't think anybody. A couple of people dropped during the game, but
Yeah,
nobody got really low. Uh, but what other things did he do? He didn't do things like what weapon speed and things like
yeah,
that. It just
yeah,
things that bog the game down. He just kind of just hand waved it. It's like I'm gonna roll a d. We're gonna roll a d6, and if you guys and just go around the table, and whoever has higher than this gets to go, and then we'll just go around the table. Monsters
and
go
and
where they
that
go.
and that was probably the best moment of the game too. During the game, there was like a little arena at the very beginning of the caverns, and we had a duel. One character had a duel somebody and spilled blood in the arena and possibly killed them. So we dragged
Yeah.
the lizard man back to the arena, and our barbarian fought the lizard man to the
Oh, it
death.
wasn't a barbarian. It
Oh,
was it was our fighter mage
yeah,
thief. It was like a super multi-classed half elf that had like
yeah.
nothing for hit points and a THAC0 of 19.
And the post was scheduled for Thursday with Mike Merles, and the last picture is a picture of the double D20 that was rolled. So basically, there's a final attack between the two opponents. The player rolled 5 on the D6 for initiative and rolled a crit. And then Mike Merles rolls his dice, and he gets a 6 on the initiative die and also a crit. And basically, almost killed the player before the player could kill the lizard man, and it was
Yeah,
amazing.
luckily Mike had unlucky dice for his first 3 rounds, and the PC did not. So but like literally the stats, like if you compare the hit points of the Thaco and the AC, were almost identical. And since the fighter magic user thief or whatever wasn't using any of her magic or her thiefly abilities, they were basically the same stats. It was really just a dice off. It was fun.
Yeah,
It was
it was
it was it
great.
was it was it was really good. And Mike did a fantastic job. I actually recorded a video of him doing the intro, which you can tell he really really loves this old school Janelle Jacquet adventure, because he didn't really have to look. He had his iPad in his hands, but he never looked down at it when he's basically riffing for 5 minutes on the intro, and basically gives you the full summary of the history of the Thracians and this evil empire that fell and why you guys are here. And it was a great intro, got you immediately hooked and right into the adventure. And he hand waved and speed run. The intention was to see how far we could get in 8 hours. So he hand waved and speed runned us through some things that didn't make sense, or basically put a hook in there or a map to something that it would be impossible to find unless you knew it was there, sort of thing. Like I was talking to this about with Jay a couple of days ago, because he's run Caverns of Thracia, and there's certain part of the first level where you just can't get to unless you tear apart a plaster wall and find the secret door that's behind the plaster wall.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's impossible to notice unless you're looking for it. So of course Mike inserts a map that we end up finding, and also a amulet that that same character that ends up defeating the lizard man in the arena has on her, and she basically gets pulled using this amulet of Thanatos towards where this basically is, this altar and called Chapel of Death is located.
So,
So
real quick, Dan. So when you find that hidden door, there's words written in ancient Thracian around it. Were you guys able to translate that?
I think we were. I think we had a magic user that was able to translate
Okay.
it.
So translation of it is basically, if you go through here, you cannot come back, and you're entering into death's realm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
because that's actually when we had our first break. Like that was a little cliffhanger, because we were like, oh. And as I had the cliffhanger, like I brought my Goodman Games 5e Caverns of Thracia that I backed last year, and Mike had written an essay in it along with Kelsey Dion and a couple of other
Mhm.
people like Kenneth Height. And I was like, well, I'm gonna get him to sign my PHP, but I'm also see if I can get him to sign this essay. And I got him to sign it, and he went off to go get a coffee, and I went and sat down and reread the essay, and I was like, oh shit, I think it just spoiled part of this adventure for me, because it's like, because one of the third paragraph he mentions, like, and only Janelle Jacquet would put an avatar of death on the first level of the first level dungeon. And I was like, oh, because we just read the hint about what's ahead. I'm like, god damn it.
And,
Yep.
and then one chick that's like, I'm gonna marry him. Like,
And now you've spoiled it for my players. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, they're gotta be further than just the first level at this point, aren't they?
They've made it deep into the second level, but there's a lot of the first level they haven't explored. They only found that doorway last game session.
Well, put in a spoiler for them to skip ahead when I'm talking about Caverns of Thracia.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. They
It's
they
a
read
40-year-old adventure. If they wanted to find it out, they would.
yeah
Um,
yeah
and
pretty much.
Mike changed it up enough that I don't think that whatever you're running is going to be the same way Mike ran it.
Oh
But
no,
uh,
no.
but essentially, we basically, like I said, we kind of speed run through this thing. We weren't trying to fight things because we're not trying to get XP. We're not trying to level up. We're just trying to get through this thing and get the things that we're trying to find. And we end up finding a sphinx. And I don't know how it was, but we had gotten a hint that there was a great treasure that the sphinx was guarding. And we're like, okay, well, maybe she just wants to ask us a riddle or something. And she's like, no, you can ask me a question, but you have to pay me. And
Pay me, fucker. Pay me.
we had like paid her some money, and she's like, okay, but that's not much. And then we're like, okay, well, we found like 2 magical glass eyes, which of course the same lady who's playing the fighter thief magic user who would had won the battle against the lizard man, had popped out her own eye and stuck the magical eye in her eye socket. It's like, that is a ballsy decision to do. That could have been the eye of Vecna. You don't even know. So we traded this magical eyeball to the
The Sphinx.
to the Sphinx, and she agreed to let us rest. So we had a long rest, able to get her spells back, and agreed to teleport us to this Minotaur King that we had heard about. And so we did. And the first thing that happens was we lost initiative to the Minotaur King, but not to his minions. And we get fireballed by the Minotaur King.
Oh my god, yeah.
We're level 4. So we're all so one person goes down. The rest of us are, down to like 5 to 10 hit points tops. And then we start like slinging spells and doing everything else. And we had at this point, I gotten like one ally. We had freed some high cleric of Thanatos or something, who had agreed to come to help us fight the Minotaur, who is invading his Thracian realm, and is like, we'll be temporary allies. We're like, sure, buddy, come help us fight this guy. And so I was playing the cleric. I landed a couple of hold persons. The mage cast a fireball, and the other fighter cleric landed a hold person, and also the cleric that we brought with us, NPC, landed a hold person. So it basically ended up just being us versus the big Minotaur wizard, his Gnoll wizard buddy, and like one other Gnoll that was still standing and not held. But it was still a knockdown, drawn out fight until, was it Waples? Was it you that landed the blindness on the guy?
Yes, I did.
So he lands a blindness on the Minotaur, and the Minotaur now can't target us with his spells. So he kind of falls to his knees and like begs for mercy, and the lady who has been trying to reclaim this place for Thanatos and trying to marry everybody, trying to romance anything that Mike is playing, decides, sure, I'll marry you, and this place is half mine. And that was how we ended the whole game. I was like, I could not have possibly predicted that was going to be the ending.
No, I never would have expected that to be the way you guys finished that campaign
at all.
Yeah. It was absolutely amazing. It
was definitely a trip.
Like I had a lot of games, but this one is going to hold a special place in my heart, I think, for all of my life. I think I'll forget about the other ones in time, but this one, because it was Mike Merle's pretty much the guy that I learned D&D from because of 4th edition and whatnot, and all the adventures written. I find out that, my favorite adventure 4th edition is Keep on the Shadowfell, which he wrote, and that's where I get a lot of my how I DM from. So it's that game felt a lot like how I play. At least I hope.
Yeah.
So for my first game, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details because, we just spent 15 minutes on one
45
game.
Here.
I ended up with a pirate board game as my opener, and I was very fortunate. I got the same game master that we had last year, John Pohl. I don't know if he's never heard of this podcast, even though I've given him flyers and stuff for it. But if he's listening, great job. You're fantastic. And I will always try to get into his games at GaryCon.
Funny story I'll interject here, that I stumbled into my last game of the entire con, and there was one seat open because I was on the phone with my family beforehand, and I had stumbled in. There was only one seat open, and it was at John Pohl's table, and I recognized him immediately. I was like, hey, I was in your game last year. My buddies ended up killing each other because one snorted ash and thought he was a crocodile. He's like, I vividly remember you, and I had him earlier this con. I'm like, fantastic. And I sat down. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I told him that story at the table. He's like, I remember you.
Yeah, you remember the entertaining players for sure.
So it was basically primarily just an adventure with very, very little combat throughout the entirety of the module. And we were trying to find the buried treasure of a pirate lord or whatever. So we had to figure out where he had buried it, and we had pieces, to do that. And we figure out we were stumbling through this fucking thing, trying to figure out where to go, and we finally end up at a grave site, and we knew that it was an anagram on the stone, and we start you start moving letters around. What the fuck is this? And I think it was like only a 7-letter anagram, maybe 2 words or 3 words or something like that. And we spent a good 10 minutes on this anagram. And then John finally had an NPC grave digger come over there and start chatting with us. And we talked to him for a second, then sort of waved him on his way. And we stumble on this thing for another 5 minutes. And then that grave digger comes back over there and says, well, if you just going to be hanging around the graveyard, you could start digging. And then it finally hit all of us like a fucking clue by 4 right upside the head that the anagram was dig here. Yeah.
Yeah,
six,
had enough.
That's hilarious. That's great.
Six people at the table, and none of us could.
Yeah, and everyone just kind of like slapped their head at the same time. Don't.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah.
So we ended up digging the hole and finding out that there was a secret labyrinth underneath that gravestone. And it was an adventure full of traps and tricks and, how to unlock this door and all of that whatnot. And we ended up running around for quite a, we were set at a 2-hour timer when we went in there. And he actually had a, what do they call it? This hourglass. Thank you. He had an hourglass. And he flipped it over, to get to a total of 2 hours. And there was only a couple of things that really, really stood out to me, and that was some of the traps that were in there that were pretty elaborate. And I know I told Dan about one of these, but there was a trap, and we had found a map with traps labeled, and we could see the entirety of the dungeon. So we knew that the room we were going into was trapped, and we knew it was a lever trap, but we didn't know how it operated or anything like that. So we walk into the room. There's a door to the left, a door straight ahead, and a door to the right. And we find the levers, and there's a lever lever on the left, lever in the middle, lever on the right. All right. Well, it seems kind of obvious that they are going to be, for each door. The left one probably for the left one, the center one for the center door, right one for the right door. And we knew that the left door and the right door were false doors. So the obvious answer is pull the center one. So one of the pirates pulls the center door and loses his arm as a blade cuts his arm off.
Oops.
So at this point, we're like, well, fuck, left or right? So we just had to pull them and hope for the best. One of the other pirates pulled the lever. Fortunately, because we knew about the trap, he did get his arm out in time. Same thing for the other one. So we pulled all 3 levers and none of them worked. So then I just walk up to the door and push it, and it opens.
Hooray.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I love that trap so much. The fact that it's just bullshit.
Yeah, it's just bullshit. Yeah.
It plays with the expectations of experienced players. They are expecting, they see that kind of stuff, and they are expecting to have to figure out something and do stuff. And so it's one of those things that's really a trap for experienced players. New players might ignore all that stuff and just try the door first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's fair.
Yeah.
Now that being said, since I'm a very experienced game master, I could tell after, I pushed the door and it went open that was not actually how it was supposed to go. Like there was some other mechanism, but at that point he's like, you guys have already fucked this up so badly. I'm just going to let you go forward.
Fair.
That's great.
The next room was a hallway leading down to another room that was trapped. And that trap was 8 paintings hanging on the wall. There was one off to the left and 6 on the wall opposite of us, and then one off to the right at the end of the hallway. And each of the paintings was of a famous pirate. And same deal. We had the map, so we knew where the traps were. The left painting was trapped. The right painting was trapped, and the painting directly across from us was trapped. We knew that they had cannons behind them. The problem was we didn't know what the trigger was for the traps. So the same pirate who lost his arm said, "Fuck it, I'm going," and he just steps into the room and immediately gets cannonballed by the one directly across from us. So his pirate died, and then he became a ghost that could walk around with us and haunt us and possess bodies.
Fantastic.
Yeah. We realized very quickly, just don't step on the panels directly in front of the cannons and you'll be fine. We were able to find the way through from there. But that was the two main things that stood out in that one that I wanted to talk about. We ended up not actually getting to complete the whole thing. We did actually run out of time, and he had another game right after ours, so we had to wrap it up. But awesome time. I love Pirate Borg so much.
That's a great game.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go down a slightly different track here, and I'm going to start with Jay, but we'll get to each of you since Jay had to wait for you guys to tell your long-ass story.
Y'all can wait now.
But what was your favorite, not necessarily game, but ran a game for you, but who was your favorite, nerd famous person that you met, got an autograph, sat in a game with, talked to, whatever, what person that's, nerd famous adjacent did you encounter that was your pick of the litter?
So I'm actually a terrible person to ask this, but I'm going to answer anyway because I don't really care about famous people.
He didn't meet the Big Show. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
He did try to beat the Big Show. That is true.
Yeah.
But I mean, who was it that that
he's got an answer. He's got an answer.
I have answers.
Okay.
I did stand in line a couple of times to get autographs for people that I grew up reading or enjoying their art. Like I did get Brahms' autograph, and I did get Margaret Weiss's autograph.
Yep.
And didn't even talk to them. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. Here, can you sign this? And that was it. I don't want to stand there chatting with them, because they have there's a line behind me, people wanting to go, and I'm that guy who will not stand in line holding people up. But if I ever see them in the hallways, I'd be, willing to sit and chat with them. I also did meet Anjali Bhamani, very nice lady. I won't talk about anything else because she told me to not say things. We'll talk about it off air, but very nice. Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can get her on the podcast at some point.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So
all right,
now ask one of the other nerds who hung in line forever trying to meet people.
All right, Chris, you go.
Well, my stalky nature for Ed Greenwood.
Yeah,
I am well aware of this. Yes,
but I only got to chat with him once. I did get him to sign all the stuff that I brought and all the stuff that you guys brought. When I handed him the stickers, he's like, "Oh, I can't sign these; they'll smear." I was like, "Ed, I'm gonna frame these." He's like, "Oh, well, that's the case," and then he signed them.
Nice.
And honestly, it was Mike Merles of all the people. Like I didn't get a chance to meet him last year. Well, just in passing, but I got to spend a good portion of time with him this year. I met him at the opening ceremony party. Talked with him there. Met with him later at the game, at the 8-hour game. So I spent a lot of time there too and chatting. And then all throughout the weekend, I just kept bumping into him and just talking about stuff. So other than Ed Greenwood, who's, got a special place in my heart forever, it would definitely have to be him.
Yeah. Mike
I
Merles
didn't see Jeremy Crawford at all. I was trying to get him. I couldn't find him anywhere.
Yeah. Mike Merles was quite accessible. He was just wandering around. So was Margaret Weiss, actually. She was just out and about, hanging out in lines, talking to people.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I saw Symmetra from a distance, but I didn't want to bother her.
All right. Dan, how about you?
Eric Mona. I ended up not going to my second game of the day on Saturday because I basically overbooked myself where I was not going to be able to make it to the exhibitor hall at all, and I was begging other people to take some of my stuff to go get signed for me. And I'd wanted Eric Mena was signing autographs, and I wanted him to sign my Living Greyhawk gazetteer that he wrote back in the early 2000s for I guess third edition. And I so the person signing before him was Anjali Bhimani, and Jay had been in line for her before then, and there was still a huge line when I showed up to get Eric's autograph, and it was probably 10 minutes till his autograph session is supposed to begin, and there's probably 15 people in front of me, and is very correct when saying that she's incredibly nice and took time to get a selfie with every person that asked for one, and just talk to people for 5 minutes at a time, and act like there wasn't a light behind them. It was great.
I wanted a photo with her. She's so
And
small. It'd be so funny.
And right next to her is like Clyde Caldwell, who has like a line backed out the door of people trying to get his autograph. And so I'm just standing there. I'm just chatting with people who are showing up, and almost everybody who's showing up is just trying to sneak into the line for Anjali. And then I see Eric kind of show up, and he's just normal looking dude with a little goatee, and he's like, "Is anybody in line for Eric Mona yet?" And I'm like, I look at him, I was like, "You're Eric Mona." And like the handler's like, I think this guy is. I'm like, yeah, I am. It's like, oh, do you mind if I just like go browse for like 15 minutes? And because it looks like Anjali's got like another 20 minutes left on her people. I'm like, that's fine. I'll be here. So like he went just like he checked out Shadow Dark and the Pirate Borg booths and did whatever he wanted to do for a little bit, and then came back. By the time he came back, like there were maybe 2 or 3 people also in line for Eric. And I was like, that's kind of disappointing. Like, do people know who he is? And then finally, like, Anjali was packing up her stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I'm the last person in line, or the last person in line from Anjali is gone. It's after the time that Eric's supposed to start. I'm gonna sneak in here and try to get her autograph because I noticed at this point because I didn't bring anything for her to sign because I didn't know she was gonna be there. And really the only thing I know her from is Overwatch. So I did know, and I was looking at like some of the photos she had out there, and she didn't have any photos out there for Symmetra, but the person in front of me apparently was a huge Overwatch fan as well, and had signed a Symmetra image, but I had her sign something as well. But the reason why Eric Mona was my best sort of famous nerd experience was I don't know if you guys remember a couple months back I did a deep dive on the writer of Night Below, Carl Sargent, the real life Dr. Peter Venkman, and also the mysterious end of his career when he was supposed to show up at FAFSA to start writing for Shadowrun and then never showed up and then disappeared off the face of the earth. So the person who wrote that article and found like the information about like basically the end of this guy's life and found everything that he could was Eric Mona in one of the last articles he wrote for Dragon Magazine. If people don't know who Eric Mona is currently the publisher for Paizo. Paizo makes Pathfinder, Pathfinder 2, and a bunch of other games, board games, mostly tabletop. And he was a major contributor to Pathfinder 1. But before then, he wrote for D&D. He wrote Faiths and Pantheons for third edition Forgotten Realms. He wrote the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer and basically did the RPGA thing for third edition Greyhawk. He wrote Fiendish Codex, Hordes of the Abyss, Expedition to Ruins of Greyhawk. Dude is a huge Greyhawk fan. So I get there, start talking about like Greyhawk and because what I'm getting him to sign is my Living Greyhawk Gazetteer. And he's like, oh man, it's so nice to talk to somebody who likes Greyhawk, blah blah blah. And he was telling me about he had the opportunity to talk to like Robert Kuntz and the other people who contributed to the early Greyhawk campaigns, apparently back on like BBSs and mailing lists back in the 1990s. But I had been I for whatever reason like I had the whole reason like Carl Sargent was even in my mind was the 2 people that showed up behind me for Eric's autograph had been talking about a Night Below campaign that the guy was running. And I was like, oh, do you guys know how fucking weird the guy who wrote that is. And I start going in about basically what I'd done on my research, which basically ties into Eric's research on this guy. And then he, I was like, okay, I might be putting my foot in my mouth here, but you wrote that article about Carl Sargent. Did you ever find out anything else about this big mystery about this guy? And he's like, holy shit, you read that article? Oh my god, so I went on a podcast with this other guy, and he starts talking about this other guy who also knew all about Carl Sargent, and apparently was his roommate back in the day as well. So he knew
Wow.
an even more deep dive. So there's a podcast that I need to further research. I need to do a part 2 of my Carl Sargent mystery.
Let's go. Let's do it.
And I'd really like to get Eric on the podcast at some point in time. Hopefully I can, but he was fantastic to talk to. And by the time I got done talking to him, because I was that guy that was not like Jay, and I definitely took 15 minutes of his time because I thought there was only 2 people behind me. But when I turned around, there was about 40, and I felt a little bit bad, but not really, because I'd been there for about 40 minutes waiting for him. So Eric was awesome. Loved talking to him, and he said that, Pathfinder 2 isn't really his thing, but, Jason and all the other people at Paizo do it. He said he still plays and runs 3 Pathfinder 1 games a week. So he's still a Pathfinder 1 guy.
All right.
FYI.
So,
But that's my famous nerd.
All right.
Yay!
All right. Next.
Okay.
I don't want to end with this, but because I want to end on a good note. So I'm going to ask, what was your grumpiest or worst moment of the convention? We'll start reverse order. I'm going to start with the king of grumps, Chris.
Why are you starting with me? I mean,
Because you're the one who actually DM'd over the weekend.
You did DM over the weekend, so you had more
did.
chances for these encounters. And of all the grumpy dungeon masters, you are the founder of the feast and the grumpiest of the bunch.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So I ran what was it, 5 games? So of the 5 games that I ran, 4 of them were the module called Many Hands, which I think everyone but Christian now has played. It's a lot of fun. It's right up my alley. A little bit of a mystery, a little bit of body horror, a little bit of just crazy shit. Cool monsters, cool ways of getting through it. I found what I think the best way to streamline it and to get it to run faster. No issues there at all. Every single table was amazing. Every single table had great stories to tell. And maybe I'll do that throughout the next couple of weeks and just tell every table and every amazing story from that. However, there was one module that I was asked to run that I did not prepare for. I did not pre-read. I was aware that I was running it a couple days ahead of time. And it is not a module that I would have written. And it's not the kind of module that I would run. But the guy who did write it, it's a perfectly fine module. It's a great module. And just watching him DM the games, I understand why this is a module that he would run and really enjoy. And it was a good module nonetheless. And I still ran it and I had a great time running it. The whole concept of the module is to be random. Random luck tokens being handed out that do random modifiers like -4 to or +4 to -77 to your rolls. Random character sheets.
-77 in a 5e game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Random character sheets. The final boss had like this slot machine mechanic where like you roll 3d6 and depending on what shows up, there could be like a jackpot. So if you roll all ones, it's a jackpot. And then when the jackpot occurs, you have to take a cup full of dice and pour it onto a dartboard, then roll a d20, and the amount of dice that wind up in the corresponding number, that's how much damage he takes. The boss is very well designed. I like the design of him. The jackpot mechanic's an extra thing, but like all his attacks and saves have an additional d4 to it, and that sometimes could be a plus or minus to his AC. So that was kind of cool. But the whole concept of the thing was a man named Danny Orthania, that being the name of the ocean in Orthane that Keshnar is located next to,
Wait a minute,
has
the name of the ocean is Danny Orthwania? Like, hey,
no,
I'm Danny Orthwania. What's going on over here?
no. The ocean's name is Orthania, and the guy's name is Danny Orthania.
So in Ocean's
i.e.,
11.
It
Yes.
was an Ocean's 11 module, yes.
Uh-huh.
And so he and the players have been divinely instructed by Bess to steal the High Roller's money, the High Roller being the BBEG, okay?
Mhm.
And also the highest member of the Temple of Bess, the highest member of this casino, and the casino being the Temple of Bess. And he's about to retire with 220 billion gold because he's been skimming off the top this entire time. So Bess, in his judgment, has divined that this man should retire poor. And he wants you, as the player, to steal his money. Okay? Follow?
His billions of dollars?
Yes. He wants you to
Okey-dokey.
steal his billions of dollars. He wants this man to leave his service to him. Bess wants the High Roller to leave the service to Bess penniless. Okay? So he sets up this giant, thievery thing to break into the vault, break into the temple, and steal this guy's 20 billion coins. He gives you all the stuff to do it. He gives you rings, magic rings that knock everybody out so nobody dies. He gives you communicators so you all can communicate to each other no matter where you are at a casino. And the whole concept is you make the plan, then you tell the plan to Danny Orthania, and as that story is being told, just like the movie, it happens at the same time, and then you do the final fight and you win. There's a deck of many things that happens in the
What
that's
level is
there.
this?
8.
Okay.
All right. So when we get everything set up, there was one player at the table, a younger player, and I'm sure he's a great player, but he wasn't getting the game. He wasn't understanding what to do. Okay.
You hadn't seen Ocean's 11?
I don't think he's seen Ocean's 11. No.
Yeah, there's a problem.
Okay. He randomly got the character that was a cleric of judgment. Okay. And so his first question to me was, who is the highest member of this temple? Can I report this man's thievery to that highest member of the temple? I'm like, no. The highest member of the temple is the guy you're trying to steal the money from. He's like, okay, what does my god think of that? Your god is commanding you to steal the guy's money. He's like, oh, okay. How can I expose his corruption to the other members of the temple so we can rally against him? Bess doesn't want you to do that. He wants you to steal his money. He doesn't care about the corruption. He just wants you to steal his money. He's like, oh, okay. Can I contact a news organization within Keshinar to report him, to out him to all the people in Keshinar?
Really give him the slow burn, boys.
It's like, dude, the
Just follow the
god
module.
The god that you follow, that you're a cleric of, wants you to steal his money. And it's at this point in time at the table, like I've explained it 4 or 5 times. The other players are seeing that I'm flipping. And he goes, we're going to steal the guy's money. Is that okay with you? He's like, I don't know. I feel like I need to judge this guy, and I need to kill him.
He's been judged by your god!
I was like, no, dude. Bess doesn't want you to kill anybody. He just wants you to steal his money.
Judgment has already been laid down.
Your literal god has already judged him.
And it just spiraled out of control. And eventually, eventually he was the only one doing like the luck mechanics and pulling from the deck of many things and just making it chaotic and random. So on one hand, he was the one that was doing the module right. Like every turn he would free action pull from the deck of many things, bonus action pull the slot lever, and then do his attack. And like it was just chaos, the whole thing. Everyone had a great time. At least that's what it was. But man, I could not drill into this kid's head. Just steal fucking money. Just steal the money.
And you just steal the money.
All right. Dan, what was your grumpiest moment?
It better not be me, bitch.
Well, now it is. No, my grumpiest moment was okay. So every year at GaryCon, they run a Legends of Role Playing tourney, which is an old school style AD&D first edition tourney in the vein of like the Assault on the Area of the Slave Lords or Hidden Temple of Tamoshan, where a bunch of identical tables of characters with the same characters, the same modules running is the DM's running the same module, are all going through the same thing simultaneously. And the Legends of Role Playing tourney has grown so big that it has, I think this year there were 19 tables, and each table had between 6 and 9 players at it. And since it's so big that if there's just so many slots available, if you have enough people, enough friends to like make a whole team, you can make a whole team of all people that you normally game with, so you can just go through this like a well-oiled machine and do it right. I only got into it with my brother and 7 randos. One of the people that was in the group I had gamed with before, actually earlier in the day, and he was fine. He was good. 2 of the other guys clearly knew their AD&D first edition. This was not their first rodeo. They knew what needed to be done. This is a timed module in which you have goals that have been set, and you need to achieve those goals, and you also know that if people die, you lose points. Okay? Pretty simple. It's very straightforward. The characters are incredibly well designed and very detailed. The module is written by Paul Stormberg, who you guys might know that of for A, the Gygax Memorial that we backed, the Legends of Wargaming that he runs, the fact that he toured us for Gary Gygax's house and used to game with Gary Gygax. So,
and his podcast.
And his podcast, When We Were Wizards. So, super cool guy, and he was the one that wrote kind of a big deal at GaryCon especially, and he wrote the module, and all the modules tend to be sort of like sequels or tangentially related to a historical TSR tournament modules. This one was related to the Lost Caverns of Sojcanth. So this one is basically, in Lost Caverns of Sojcanth, the thing you're out to find is the Dowd's Wondrous Lanthorn, which is basically it's an artifact that enables a wizard who is at the leading an army or part of an army to do incredible things in order to turn the tide of battle in their favor, even if they're outnumbered. But essentially, you're part of this group that went to the Lost Caves of Sojcanth in the previous year, and you have essentially gotten the lantern, returned to the Margrave so he can do his thing, but it's missing 3 of the 7 lenses. So he can't actually operate it at its fullest potential, and he's worried that he's going to lose his battle unless he gets it at the 3 lenses. That's basically the story behind it. And all clearly had, thought of everything that needed to be go on to these things. This is the most I still have the character sheet in front of me. It is the most detailed AD&D first edition character sheet I have ever seen in my life. It has the adjusted THAC0 for my club and my footman's base from a minus 10 AC to a positive 10 AC. Has everything included in there. Has all my bonuses included in there. Bonuses to rolls, bonuses to saves. Literally everything detailed. If you flip it over, it has the distribution of my items on my left-hand side, on my right-hand side, on my center. It has my actual encumbrance to the fact where, I'm a 13 strength cleric that's wearing full plate and is carrying a shitload of equipment. So my speed's only a 6. Like, it is completely written out and has all my mundane items and everything like that on it. Absolutely no problem with the module. The module was great. The guy that was running it, newest stuff. AD&D wasn't his specialties. There was a little bit of argument with a couple of the people on how spells worked and how segments worked, because we used literally the full-on, by-the-book, raw AD&D first edition rules. And that was fine. My problem, and what made me grumpy as fuck, was there were 3 guys that showed up as part of this 9-person party. And those 3 guys showed up with the tall boy green cups filled with beer to start. They went and refilled those cups 4 times, boys, and they were sloshed by the end of it. They were fucking shit-faced. One couldn't pay attention and never really heard it when it was his turn and contributed literally nothing. One guy tried to contribute too much and was always talking out of turn and being really fucking loud. And this is a con. There's already too many tables in each of these conference rooms that you're playing in, and people are loud as shit. So I am 4 feet from the DM, and I cannot hear a fucking word he's saying. So I'm trying to figure out these puzzles. I'm closing my eyes and trying to strain to hear what he's saying, and I cannot hear him. And there's the third guy who, at the beginning of it, when he first showed up and was only 1 drink in, he was fine. He was actually kind of like a leader type and was like, we got to go. We got to ignore the things that are clearly meant to slow us down. We just need to find these three lenses. And these 3 guys, I mean, Christian, you've been with me before when we've played with drunk shitheads at cons.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated. I wanted to just get up, act like I'm going to the bathroom, and just fucking left. I did not want to finish it because we weren't gonna. It was clear, but with 2 hours in, we were not going to finish this fucking thing or even come close. Spoilers: we scored 14 out of 19 for the shittiest team because these guys could not fucking focus, could not do anything, and they were clearly just there to have a great time. And you know what? If you're there to have a great time, don't be an asshole, and don't do that at a fucking tournament. Go to a regular fucking game. What the fuck? It was obnoxious. Like, I didn't have any illusions that our team was gonna win because the team that won clearly had at least 6 people who knew each other and played well together already. You know, you had the people who were good with stats, had people that were good with puzzle solving, and they had all played tournament games before when you know you're ignoring everything other than the things that are going to score you points. And it was such a bad time that I will never again enter another tournament like that at GaryCon, even though I know the module was actually very well written, because I don't want to get a whole bunch of fucking randos on a Friday or Saturday night that are just going to be drinking because they can just go refill their cups right outside the fucking room. And it was awful. I never wanted to game with drunk people again. It was terrible.
Well said.
Yeah,
All right.
I get that green cup every time, and I'm not gonna drink at all until I know I don't have no games left. Especially if I'm DMing. Don't drink and DM. Don't drink and
It's just
play.
fucking rude. It's rude to your DM. Because those people ended up arguing with the DM over shit all the time. We probably spent 2 hours just people arguing about shit, and it's because of the 3 fucking drunk assholes. And I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right,
Honestly, that was my only bad game. That was the only bad game I had.
Yeah, well, we dodged one. It sounded like too.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if we're gonna do a tournament, we gotta get all of us in there.
Yeah.
And all sign up as one. All right, Jay, what was your grumpiest moment?
Better not be me.
Yeah, it's definitely it's Chris and everything about him.
Yeah, just him personally for sure.
Yeah. No, my grumpiest moment was also a game. I ended up in a Castles and Crusades game, and I have never played Castles and Crusades, but I am familiar with it. And for any of you who are or are not, it is akin to 3rd edition D&D.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, it is number-wise and number crunchy-wise, it is still akin to D&D, but it's not as slow because you do not get a million attacks every round. That's just not part of the design. There are some things that I like a lot better than I do 3rd edition. And I always wanted to play the game, so I signed up for a con game. All right, let's go. I get to the table, and it's a 8-person table. And that's a lot of people to be running for a game like that. So I'm like, okay, this might still be manageable because it's less attacks. Things should move pretty quick. And then after about an hour of this game, I'm beginning to realize parts of the problem with this thing. One, And let me say, this is not shade on the game master because he actually seemed to be a really good game master. He was pretty well prepared. He was trying to do things the way they should, but he didn't seem to understand the difference between house game mastering and con game mastering.
That's an issue. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. With 8 people at the table, if you're running a convention game, you must be on top of things. You must hurry people along. It has to be the okay, what are you doing this turn? All right, you're done. You're done. What are you doing this turn? You're done. What are you doing? You have to keep that moving.
Yeah, and you can't pause to flip through books to find out the exact answer to a rules question or something, because you have 8 people that are half of them are going to end up doodling on their phone and looking at the news rather than paying attention to what you're doing.
And,
if you really have to look up a rule.
Yeah, he knew the adventure in and out. I'm pretty sure it was a homebrew thing, but he wasn't pushing the pace. We got 2.5 hours in before I ended up leaving the game out of a out of a 4-hour game.
Oh my god, yeah, I wanted to leave my game too, man.
I was not good. People were already texting me about getting food, and I'm like, okay, yep, let's go do that instead.
So did you Irish goodbye it, or did you actually say, I gotta go, guys?
I told him no, I don't walk out. Like I told him that, hey, I misscheduled this thing. And honest to God, I actually kind of did because I thought it was a 3-hour game. And then I realized it was a 4-hour game. At that point, I'm like, okay, not happening. My ADD is not going to let me do this. So 8 players. Then we had a 9th jump in about an hour in. Another part of the problem was the game master knew 3 of the people that were in the game. And it was very obvious that they knew each other. They played together all the time. They were making in-jokes constantly. And then this 4th person that they knew decided to just hop in the game. Didn't ask anybody at the table.
No, it's cool. I know the DM. Yeah.
Ask the game. The game master just invited them in.
Yeah. What kind of asshole does that?
You asked the people at the table, Waples.
Yeah, you did it right. It was fine.
I mean, they could have said no, and you are a giant, and maybe you intimidated them not saying no. But I mean,
I don't know that one lady that wanted to fuck everything, man. I was kind of like, she could probably throw down. She could have probably kicked my ass, left me severely wounded. I'm just saying.
Probably.
So the other gripe, and this is a pretty big gripe, he did come prepared for the game. The problem was all of the character sheets were handwritten.
The fuck?
They were handwritten.
That's pretty rough, yeah.
Sheets. If you do it for 5e, maybe, because you don't really get a lot, but you can't do that for Castles and Crusades or 3rd edition or something like that, where you've got 10 feats on your sheet and all this little numbers and everything. Yeah. And then he was like, please don't write on the sheets because I need these.
So there weren't even copies of handwritten sheets? They were literally just handwritten, like he wrote them in the hotel room before he showed up?
Yes, that's exactly how that went.
Oh my god,
who needs their sheets back?
He did, apparently. So
like, I got this bitch on your behalf here. It was made apparent, like on the GaryCon forum and Facebook group, that the DMs have access to a DM's lounge, which has a fucking copier in it.
That some of the times works.
Yeah, to be fair, it ran out of ink pretty fast and then stopped working.
Come on, we talked prepared.
Yeah,
I'm prepared.
Yeah, we talked to another game master about the printer.
I mean, when I ran my tournament, I had to print 11 tables worth of characters. I think I had 8 characters per table. You know, it cost me like $100 to get everything printed out for that. You know, I'm not saying it should cost you that much. You know.
Well, can I make a recommendation to you, Waples? If you're gonna do that in the future, invest about $100 in an HP laser printer for your house.
I have one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
because
I have a nice inkjet printer.
No,
Not an
laser.
inkjet printer. Inkjet printer's too expensive. You can get thousands of prints out of a black and white laser printer,
Yep.
an actual laser printer.
Yeah.
Just for doing stuff where you're doing black and white, you don't need ink. You just need the laser printer, and laser printers are just so much better.
All right.
Coming from a grumpy dungeon master that has run many games and had to print off all of the character sheets for all of the characters because nobody apparently can afford to buy a printer.
Yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about grumpy. Those fucking people. Big goddamn printer.
All right, next question.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Well, that was your grumpiest moment. So what was everyone's best game of the convention? And we'll start with Jay here.
I mean, like most of these questions are just the 8-hour Mike Burles game I played at the start.
You got to change it up, buddy.
Okay, hold on. No, so my favorite game was the Call of Cthulhu game.
Yeah.
But since Chris is he can't talk about the Thracia game anymore. Chris, you have to end up talking about the Call of Cthulhu game.
Ooh.
I am going to talk about the X-Crawl game that we played in.
All right.
And Chris, if I screw anything up, feel free to correct me.
I mean, just talk about both. Just go, and I'll pitch in.
Okay.
Right.
So I managed to con Chris into playing a game of X-Crawl with me. And Chris, did you have a good time with it? Was it fun?
I will say this: the DM was fantastic. The game was fine. I don't understand why X-Crawl Classic exists. We didn't roll any of the weird special dice that are required to play the game.
The game master did.
I didn't. As the player, I did not. I could have done that in 5e or Shadow Dark or Pirate Borg, and it would have been the exact same game.
Yeah. That being said, Chris, it's also because we didn't have any spellcasters other than the gnome who wasn't really using his spells much.
You mean Leprechaun and the
Yes.
three meatheads?
Oh, was that the title? His three meatheads? I couldn't remember. I thought it was Leprechaun and his muscly meatheads.
No, it was Leprechaun and his three meatheads, which was a play on Ted Healy and his Three Stooges before the Three Stooges revolted and killed Ted Healy.
So when we picked our characters, one of the things you have to do with X-Crawl is you have to figure out what actor during any time period would play this character in a movie.
Okay.
So
that.
yeah. So Chris, what did you go with?
I was the orc, and
you were the incredible orc.
Yeah, I was the orc. My name was the Incredible Orc, played by Lou Ferrigno.
Hell yeah.
I was Peck Flexington, and I was played by none other than Zeus Tiny Lister. And let's see, so I was a brawler, basically a grappler. We basically had three fighters in the group, and a gnome.
The three meatheads.
Yeah, the three meatheads, and a gnome who was dressed like a leprechaun, had all of the leprechaun weirdness going on about him, and cast illusion magic because he's a gnome.
He's a gnome, yeah.
So our adventure starts at the Iowa State Fair.
Like you do.
like all adventures do.
Yeah, like all adventures do, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently we signed up to do an X-Crawl there. I did not realize this was going to be a thing.
Uh-huh.
So for people who aren't aware of X-Crawl, it's basically American Gladiators, except
Running Man.
Yeah, okay, Running Man / American Gladiators.
Slash that Super NES game where you're in the game show that was a spinoff of Running Man.
Yes.
It's dungeon crawling as a sport, as a mass media sport. Yeah,
that is exactly what it is. So we get into the first area, and the first area is a cornfield, and we are told if we go more than 5 feet into the corn, we will be disqualified. And there's a large center area that's missing corn, and we start progressing forward, heading to the next checkpoint. And as we're going forward, there's a combine ahead of us with blades instead of the things that it normally has on it. And A combine made by none other than Joan Deere. And it cranks up and starts heading directly at us. So we're trying to figure out how to not get run over by this fucking thing. So two people, Chris grabs a rope and a grappling hook and tries to throw it into the combine to mess it up, which it proceeds to just chew up the grappling hook and spit it out.
I rolled real low.
Yep.
So him and the other fighter type are on the southern side, and then me and Leprechaun the gnome go to the north. And Lee does a taunt or whatever to get the combine to turn towards me and him. So it starts to rotate in our direction. I grab him and I try to throw him over the combine, and I roll like a 3.
Oh no!
Right into the combine.
Oh no! Leprechaun, no!
Fortunately, the DM rolled terrible damage. So Lee took 6 points of damage or something and managed to survive. Yeah. So I run around to the side, managed to dodge the thing. Then the other fighter runs to the back, starts ripping out all the wires and turns this thing off. So that's how we dealt with the combine. We progress a little further forward, and then we see some scarecrows or something coming out of the corn to fight with us, and they see us, and then they just turn around and go back in when they realize we are also wearing Joan Deere hats.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we had to choose when we started, like what hat to wear, what drink to drink, and what pie to eat. And we chose correctly because we all ate the same pie, so we got a buff. The juice was like health juice, and for the hats, I had taken every single hat, so I basically covered us like an armor and all the hats.
Yeah, we were wearing a hat, and then we had hats clipped to our belts.
Hell yeah!
So yeah, the scarecrows didn't attack us because of that.
The next section we got to was a silo with a corn golem in it. That Chris managed to kill in 2 rounds because he fucking by himself. He critted it right out of the gate. Next thing was we got to Ma's house, and I'm not going to talk about what happened at Ma's house because what happens at Ma's house stays at Ma's house. Isn't that right, Chris?
Obviously.
Yep, I showed her my penis.
If only he was joking.
Oh no. No, why? Don't tell me why. That's
and scene.
So we leave Ma's house and we are running through another maze through the cornfield, and we just hear trampling noises off to the right, and then a massive swarm of deer just start running over us.
Well, you're a Joan Deere, though.
Yeah, well, those deer did not give a fuck about those Joan Deere hats. We start getting the shit kicked out of us, and at that point, we're just trying to figure out what to do. I start running, and most of the people start running. Chris just stands and starts punching and killing deer over and over.
How dare you?
Yeah.
So basically, whenever my character killed something by himself, I got a luck token.
Yep.
And so, I figured that running would be the wrong solution because we can't run away from these. I don't want to run with the herd and get trampled 9 times. So I just want to stay there and basically defend and dodge and punch. And I just started murdering deer, and I killed 30 deer, and I got 30 luck tokens. So it worked out for me.
Yeah, the rest of us just started flashing flashlights at them, making them go around us. After that incident, the one problem we had is we didn't have a cleric with us at all. So healing was kind of a thing. So the game master he had that happen before. So he had devised a thing where the Kool-Aid man shows up and heals you.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Literally
drink out of him.
No, he just tips his head towards you and pours red juice all over you.
He kept kicking me first because I
No, that was later.
Yeah.
I'll get to that.
All right.
So after the Kool-Aid Man thing, we get to the giant red barn, and the first room of the giant red barn, there are 2 cows in there, 2 cows, and a little bin for chickens in the back. Yeah. And the cows turn towards us, and they have glowing blue eyes, and we see electricity go between their horns. So we just start. We're like, "Oh, this is going to be bad." So we just start beating the cows' asses. And as that happens, the gate to the chicken house opens up, and 4 chickens come running out and start pecking at us.
Of course they do.
So this goes on for a little bit, and finally, the other fighter who is with us grabs one of the chicken, rolls it up. No, it wasn't you.
No, I picked up the chickens and decided to use them as weapons against the cows.
Oh, okay.
And I hit the cow. You were in the bathroom, so I smashed the cow with both of the chickens that I had, because dual wielding chickens, it's the best weapon.
Yeah, obviously.
And when I hit the chickens against the cow, they exploded.
So the other fighter got the idea to grab one of the chickens and rolled it into the chicken house, which then exploded it and the 32 other chickens that were in the house.
Nice.
Blew up the entire thing. So we get to the last room after that, and there's a balcony about 16 feet up in the air, and there is a farmer on it, and there were 6 wild pigs. And I say wild, they're sows, like 400-pound pigs. So we realized, okay, we're going to have to fuck these things up too. I grabbed one of the pigs. I nat 20'd my roll and threw one of the pigs into another pig. Just body slammed it. Next round, I pick up a pig and throw it at the farmer. And Chris gets the shit kicked out of him. These are my notes. I wrote it here. Chris got the shit kicked out of him.
I did. Yeah.
Pretty much everybody was getting the hell kicked out of them. Most of the people were down, and then the Kool-Aid man had to come and kind of save us, gave us some Kool-Aid, and we still got the shit kicked out of us after that. The 6 pigs and the farmer spellcaster were just too much, so we ended up we failed our mission.
We TPK'd.
So then they didn't kill us; they just robbed us and dropped us off at a bus stop. I fucking love X-Crawl.
Yeah, like the setting, that setting and that theme is perfect. The dice question. I question it.
Yeah,
you questioned it because you bought dice that you didn't have to use?
He didn't buy shit. I gave him dice.
I stole dice from Jay.
Yeah.
Thief!
It's fine. I have a lot of them. And I
what happened is I bought the DCC and the X-Crawl book. And I said, "Do you want dice? You get dice on a module." I was like, "God, I have dice. I just need the 2 modules." And they're like, "Oh, okay, that works for us." And then Jay's like, "No, you need the X-Crawl DCC dice." I'm like, "Oh, why? Oh, you need a D30 and a D17 and a D. Why do these exist dice? I don't know."
So some of the classes in DCC also use D16s. I absolutely use all of the weird dice in my games.
All right. I don't believe you because I can't witness it. I played 1 game and no dice were rolled.
Anyway, so that was my favorite game of the weekend.
Awesome. All right. Now Call of Cthulhu.
Which was actually my favorite game of the weekend.
It really was. It really was.
It was like an hour. It was like an hour and 10 minutes of amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was the best.
All right, Chris, you got this one.
Oh, I got this one. I thought you wanted it. It's your favorite game.
Nope.
You got to talk us through it, Chris.
So we were given pre-made characters. It was I was a Kitty, and then I was Peggy, right?
No, you were Loretta.
I was so Kitty and Loretta, and we're best friends. Okay, she's engaged to be married to a guy named Hank, and her brother was Jay's character, who was Earl, and Earl's card playing friend was also a milkshake man. Was
Del.
named what? Del.
All
right. So essentially, it starts off that Kitty getting a phone call that Hank is cheating on her with some hussy named
Jolene.
Jolene, that's right, yeah, Jolene. And we're going to go assemble a team to basically smack the shit out of her. So
no, we were there. We were there to beat up Hank. Like, what the fuck, Hank?
Yeah. So Kitty calls the brother. She calls me. We pick up her and me and the Jay and the milkshake man. We go to the bar where he's supposedly cheating on her. And when we arrive, we key his car. And then we get inside, and it's a bloodbath. I lose sanity. Somebody is crying and sobbing in the men's room. We go to investigate. It's an old drunk man. Something terrible happened here. He's crazy. I lose insanity. Then we go into the women's room. There's a dead body there. I lose sanity. The milkman finds a shotgun.
You see a theme here, right?
Yeah. So he loads the shotgun, puts the bullets in the wrong end. I take the shotgun from him, put it in the right end because I know how to use a shotgun, it seems. Even though I'm just a radio operator in 1950s Arkansas. Somehow. And we go out to the Sugar Shack. You all know what a Sugar Shack is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Dan, Christian. Yes.
It's the shack with the sugar.
It's where you have sex with the whores.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go out to the Sugar Shack. Kitty's running in ahead of everybody, followed by her brother, Jay.
No, I actually went in first.
Okay, whichever.
Yep.
Followed by the milkman, followed by me with a gun. All right. Kitty's. They find Hank inside, covered in blood. Kitty's mad. Hank is mad. Milkman is confused, and I'm there. And then busting out of a door, all right, screaming real loud is Jolene. Now, I had lost a lot of sanity. You don't scare someone like that. I shot her. Just point blank, no questions asked. Bam! Shot her dead.
Just both fucking barrels.
Both fucking barrels shot her dead. Don't do that. Kitty slaps Hank. We're trying to figure out what to do next. The woman I shot turns out to be the monster. Okay. Everybody loses sanity. We all lose more than 5 sanity, which makes us all go temporarily insane. And we are all given special insanity things that happen to us. Jay, I believe yours was that you had to become aggressive towards Hank.
So mine was I attack Hank.
Yeah. So you started beating Hank's face in with a tire iron that you'd gotten from the car earlier. The milkman, Earl, right?
Dell.
His is that he's just, kind of gets pacified and wants to go do his job. So he heads out to the bar, starts cleaning up the blood, taking some shots, just like completely spaced out. I think Kitty goes into a rage and attacks Jolene.
Yes.
And I just kind of like space out and believe that I'm just having a nice, warm summer day on the porch of my house. So because I shot Jolene, she tries to attack me. But because I'm sitting down, she misses. Because I think I'm sitting on my porch. And then Jolene runs over, slaps the monster. Jay's beaten Hank with a tire iron. Dell's walked away. The monster swings at at Kitty, hits her, sends her flying across the Sugar Shack, busts her head on the door, and she's dead. Okay. And then I think by that time you recover your sanity.
Yeah.
So you start attacking the monster. Dell's still crazed. I think he's starting to recover his sanity. And I'm still just bonkers insane. So I see Kitty fly by. I'm like, oh, hi, Kitty. We should go dancing. And Dell comes back in. Jay's hitting the monster. I finally regained my sanity. And at this point in time, I had lost so much sanity. I just like, you know what? I'm going to put the shotgun in the monster's mouth and pull the trigger and see what happens. So I go to do that, and the monster gets an opportunity attack. The DM warned me that would happen. I still chose it to happen. And it just floors me, destroys the shotgun. I'm out for the rest of the thing. Dell comes running back in. He's made Molotov cocktails from the alcohol in the bar. Jay still going, what was it? Arkansas Berserker style on the monster. Dell sets the house on fire. They drag me out, and the cops show up. The monster burns to death. Like I said, it was an hour, maybe hour and a half of just the best fun I've had in a long time. And coming from expecting this drawn out kind of gory, everyone's gonna die game that Call of Cthulhu is, to get this kind of just wild, chaotic mess, it was just so much fun. It really was
the
like
the
the best game.
the game master was fantastic, and the two guys that were playing with us were perfect. Like they
Yeah.
were all in, just like we were.
We all got the assignment and we're like, bet.
You
So it
understood the
was
assignment.
fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, that was quite a memorable game.
Awesome.
All right. Dan, what was yours?
I have a hard time actually judging that.
Well, you gotta pick
I
one.
think it would have been your first game of Keshinar. Yeah.
It was
That's
good.
actually, it was fun. That was a lot of fun. Rolling later, but I'm gonna have to give it to Pyreborg.
Yeah.
So let me just recap what I'm having to pick from here. Indiana Jones with the writer of TSR's version of the Indiana Jones RPG, Harold Johnson. Assault on the Area of the Slave Lords with Alan Hammock played in the exhibit at the Geneva Lake Museum for the Wizard of Lake Geneva. Ragnaborg, which was fucking wonderful, which I can talk about later. But Pirateborg pulled out all the fucking stops.
It really did. It really did.
So first off, Pirateborg has gotten so big and is so popular right now. Last year it was at the Timber Ridge, which is like this sort of little mini water park that's part of the campus at the Grand Geneva Conference Center. And we played our first game Pirateborg there, and it was just in a conference room near the lobby. This time, they have so many games of Pirateborg running, they shut down the water park, and Pirateborg was played in the water park, which was cool enough. Although I do hesitate to bring my young son there on account of I told him, hey, there's a cool water park that you can hang out in with your mom, and I'll come hang out with you there too, and we'll go ride rides and stuff. But I don't foresee Pirateborg getting less popular, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be there again next year too because it was so successful. But they basically had about, what do you say, Jay, 12 tables set up in the middle, along with like a huge, just like backdrop with like a mast and massive banners and netting, and all of their DMs, their harbor masters were wearing full on garb, and I'm talking like good garb. Like,
So yeah, in the water park, that central area, there was probably 10 to 12 tables, but then they also had other sections in the water park set up
Yeah.
running Pirateborg that were another 20 plus tables.
So yeah, so I had signed up for this game. I know I wanted to get work in a game of Pirateborg because I'd loved it when I played it last year. I've loved it when I've run it, and I backed Limithron's most recent Kickstarter, which conveniently enough was awaiting me when I arrived back home. So I picked up Down Among the Dead and Cabin Fever when I got home. But the game that I signed up for, I want to read out the information of what it was advertised as. Pirateborg Epic, Brethren's Plunder. A premier multi-table event. 7 crews will plot the siege and sacking of a landlubber city, then execute their vision in the very first Pirateborg Epic. Expect lots of strategy and then chaotic combat on sea and land. Pirateborg is the rules-light, grimdark, scurvy-ridden D20 RPG. Characters are provided. So, as I mentioned way earlier in the podcast, we had John Pohl as our DM. Fantastic. All the harbor masters there are great. They were all dressed up in their best pirate garb. They all had their yars going on, and I just kind of rolled in. This is my last game of the con. I did not sign up with anybody else from our group that went up there, so I'm rolling in alone. Don't know anybody that I'm gaming with, and roll in there. I take like the last seat available at the 7 tables. So you have 7 tables of, I think, 7 tables of 6 people each, so 42 people playing all at one time. And so the first thing we do is just pick characters. They're all randomly generated characters. The first time I played Pirateborg, it's so simple to make a character that you can make a character in under 5 minutes, but they just wanted to get this whole scenario started, so they just handed out a big stack of characters. You grab whatever you wanted. I picked up a character that had it was my I could have rolled this character. Of all the stats, I had a +1 to 1 stat, and everything else was a negative. Luckily,
That's a Dan character.
It was the Dan character if I ever saw one. Luckily, I was a Buccaneer who's just kind of a shooter, sniper, and he's a former physician, although had no actual medical skill to speak of. Has a peg leg, and I rolled a D66 from the Down Among the Dead table for another special ability. Because last year they handed out like a deck of cards, and you'd have like a relic or something like that, or a ritual that you could cast, or something like that. This time it was basically had a random special ability. My random special ability was surgical precision. And the surgical precision basically allowed me to reduce the armor of anything I shoot at by a D2 because I'm just so precise with my shots. So I look at the other special abilities I have as a Buccaneer, and it's like if you hit a target twice, the second time you hit it, the DR is 4 less than it would be normally. So DR, if people are listening who have not played a board game before, DR is the same as DC. You're looking for a target number base of a 12 for almost everything you're doing. So changing a DR 12 to DR 8 is pretty significant when your stats are only, in my case, a +1. So all I need to do is roll a 7 to hit with a gun, which is pretty great. So we quickly elect our captain. She was fantastic. She was also dressed out for pirating adventure, and everybody took their positions. We had, like, I think 2 zealots, 2 buccaneers, 2 zealots, 2 buccaneers, a brute, and a sorcerer. And we had one of the frigates. We set out our captains to go to figure out what to do, how to raid this landlubber city, and it was basically a island city protected by the British. And our crew and the neighboring table's crew, who had a sloop, were going to go intercept the British frigate and 2 sloops that were guarding the harbor, whereas another couple of crews were going to run the blockade, another couple of crews were going to do suppressing fire and bombard the fort, and another crew was going to try to sneak around back to try to basically ambush them from behind and get into the city. So everybody basically is running a different scenario, so 7 scenarios running it at once. I guess it's probably less than that because you have grouped up people, but so they pulled us all from our table where we started our game, and they pulled us over to another part of the water park where they have laid out basically 2 giant blue sea-like looking rugs. And rather than having, like, little tiny miniatures that you would normally use for ship combat for, like, the micro scale before you go back to the macro scale of doing a PC combat, they had, like, the full-size ships that you would have a normal, like, 32 millimeter miniatures on as the ships you're controlling to have the sea battle, because we had so much space. It was like a 30-foot by 30-foot battle mat that we were playing on. So the captain would literally, like, lean over, pick her ship up because it's like 3 feet long, and then move it up four places, turn it, and then people are like, oh no, I'm going to full sail it, so move it another one, and then we'd turn in position, make sure we have a cone of fire, and bombard. So I had the opportunity to roll the first bombardment from our frigate on the enemy ship, and you guys know me. What do you think I rolled?
So just at the scene, everyone here is
Nat 20.
Dan.
What I rolled?
Natural one. We know.
I rolled natural 1. Absolutely rolled natural 1. And and one of the few things that was not already written on my character sheet was my devil's luck. I had to roll a D2 for my devil's luck, so I just flipped a coin. What do you think I rolled on that?
A 2?
I rolled a 1. So I promptly burned my devil's luck to reroll.
And what'd you get then?
A 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that is how I began my night. That's how I knew it was going to be a great fucking night, because I kept the one, the fucking cannon would explode. We would only have one set of cannons to bombard with, and we'd probably do damage to the ship. So the captain graciously handed me one of her Devil's Lucks, and then I re-rolled again, and I rolled natural 20 that time. And at that point in time, I got on a roll, because my secondary and tertiary shots were, all I had to roll was a 7 to hit. So I just kept on hitting them, and also I was reducing their armor. So we very quickly got the ship down well below half, and they ran up the white flag for surrender. So they've run up the white flag for surrender. The route goes across the planks as we pull up next to it to grab their captain for terms of surrender, because our captain wants to take their ship rather than destroy it. And the captain's like, "Okay, what are your terms of surrender?" And she's basically like, either they can join my crew, or they can go ahead and walk the plank and go see Davy Jones. And so the captain was like, "Well, that isn't much of a choice. So can I go over to my ship to tell my crew?" And she's like, "No, you absolutely cannot. You can go up to the top to the deck of my ship to tell your crew." So I'm up on the crow's nest, looking down at their ship and seeing what's going on. Roll a presence test, and notice that there's a dozen English Marines that are coming up from the cargo hold, all armed and ready to go with lit bombs and shit to come and attack us, just waiting on the word of their captain. So I notice it, call out that it's a trap. Our brute, who's has his specialty weapon is a broken mast that he has in his hand, hears me yell at it's a trap, and he fucking natural 20 baseball swings and knocks this guy's head clean off into the water.
Nice.
That's
Beautiful.
the beginning of the fight. I fire a shot and end up igniting the black powder on the other ship. And we have 2 rounds to basically weigh anchor and get away. So we weigh anchor, get away, and their ship explodes. And then we turn around and then help our other pirate crew, who has been fighting off 2 sloops, help him take out the remaining sloop. And then at that point in time, what really makes this whole scenario fantastic is that Luke is the writer of Pirate Borg, but his brother Tyler, helps out with writing mechanics and writing and helping run everything. And he's running back and forth in between the tables, basically taking stock of what's happening in real time in the different scenarios. What's happening with the blockade running? What's happening with the fort? Oh, there's an explosion up on the hill where the fort is. The fort is on fire because they hit a natural 20 twice in the same spot with a bombardment, and they managed to get into the powder reserves. And he's basically making this big announcement, echoing through the chamber as he's doing it. And essentially, he also has a deck of cards whenever he's nearby and somebody rolls a natural 20. He yells out "Windfall!" and everybody yells out "Windfall" in return, and somebody draws a card, and something beneficial happens. So I end up rolling a natural 20. All of our everybody on the deck of our ship is rolling basically increasing their die type by 1 for when they're doing any firearms. So, and that includes bombardments. So our D8s become a D10, and so on. And so we are absolutely on a roll. And as all these other things are happening, this looks like the pirates are doing well. Our captain, who is a zealot, basically has a vision of a ritual happening somewhere in the fort, and apparently the British were summoning an undead pirate to fight us. And what happens is a guy named Captain Marrow shows up with the literal ship of the dead. Yes, the name of Luke's podcast shows up. And the ship is 4 times the size of the biggest frigate that we have in the fleet, and begins fighting all of us. And essentially all 7 crews then have a battle against the ship of the dead. and again, Tyler's running back and forth between all 7 tables, taking stock of how much damage the Ship of the Dead is taking, who is basically rolling natural ones when he shouts out blunder, and half the ship that ends up rolling natural 1 or natural 2 at that point because the fumbles range was higher because the Ship of the Dead's there and everyone's scared. Their ship ends up exploding. When time anybody dies, they end up almost immediately returning as undead and fighting their own crew. Becomes absolute fucking chaos. So all the different crews have completely different tactics on how they're attacking the Ship of the Dead. So you have some crews that decide to go boarding action immediately and start fighting all the other undead pirates. Our crew, ended up having a sorcerer, so they are basically able to summon the wind whenever we need it. So we're basically diving in, bombarding twice, diving out of the range of its cannons until the point comes by that Tyler's looking at all the other crews that have, at this point, half of them are undead or pulling new characters. Because the great thing about Pirate Board is your character dies, there's another pirate to take its place. Just grab another character sheet and start playing. So you're never really out of the action, even when you die, which is one of the fantastic aspects about the game. And he sees that we haven't really taken much damage. He's like, the Ship of the Dead fires on you 3 times, and John's like, Tyler, they're out of range. He's like, they're no longer out of range. The Ship of the Dead fires on you 3 times. It's pirate work, so the DM doesn't roll shit. So John just points at 3 of us. Is like, okay, roll your agility and see if you manage to avoid getting hit. And we start getting our asses absolutely handed to us at this point in time because we can't dive out of range. So we start moving up to get into range. Half our crew ends up dying, gets turned into zombies, starts killing the other half of the crew. And finally, at the end of the 4-hour period of this game, which is just nonstop, there was a 1 break and that was it. And luckily, since we were down where the water park is, there's normally a restaurant down there, so there's workers that are normally there. So you have a half dozen ladies that are going back and forth, waiting on all the different tables, bringing people food and drinks the entire time. So nobody's really taking a break to do anything except for me, 1 or 2 people going at a time to go to the bathroom or something. What we didn't know about this event was that there was a secret 8th group that was sneaking into the fort to try to stop the ritual, and they had a completely different RPG event advertised that they signed up for, and they were nowhere near where we were having this entire big combat. They were on the other side of the water park where we couldn't see them. So at the end of the 4 hours, Tyler calls it and says, "Okay, there were 2 win conditions here. 1, you could either take out the Ship of the Dead, which had 300 hit points." And 3 different parts of it that had to get taken out, and had I think a D6 armor or something ridiculous like that. Or 2, you had to have your crew be successful, go in and stop the ritual as it's under that of all the sorcerers that are controlling Captain Marrow. And those guys had actually managed to succeed, where we had actually failed by only 13 hit points. But it ended out absolutely beautifully, and it was so much fucking fun. It felt like, honestly, I know the 3 of you guys will understand. It felt like when a good plot team at a LARP works like a well-oiled machine, when everything just clicks. That's what it felt like.
Yep.
It felt absolutely perfect, and it was the best ending I could have asked for the end of a con.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, we're at 1 hour and 30. This has to be a part 1 for Gary Con.
I do want to talk about my other 3 games, and I don't want to leave anything out. But
there's a lot more I need to talk about too. I just want to get a quick shout out. We actually had a Pirate Board game with Ahmed Safadi, Jay and I, and it was a fantastic game. We were playing the old Muppet guys.
Yeah, we were Statler and Waldorf.
That's what we were. But everyone else was new, and we knew it, and we were just we're just going to mock them the entire time.
Those are my favorite.
Fantastic.
So this has to be a part 1. We'll do a part 2.
Yeah.
And
all right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening for the hour and a half of just us squawking.
Gary Con's a lot of fun. Go to it.
Yeah, go to it.
There
But
next
it
year.
does still have limited tickets, so make sure you click real quickly, because people were bitching and whining and moaning that they couldn't get tickets, and like, you are waiting until the day of the con to try to get a ticket. Nowhere on the website does it say there are tickets available.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
All right. All that being said, let's do the Matt Mercer top 10 real quick, and we'll move on.
Yeah. You know, I really
Matt
do want
Mercer's
to hear
top 10 cons.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
it.
Well,
Yeah.